Hello everyone, I'm NiiNiiFC. I'm following your Chelsea and football related content, and today I'm bringing you a transfer daily video. Now yes, we all know the news. Bakayoko is in London and Bakayoko is doing his medical tomorrow, and I got a lot of hate over the past few days when I announced on social media that, you know, my source told me that Bakayoko has had his bank account created at the moment in London. And really, I should have gone into more detail. So basically, it wasn't Bakayoko's agent or Bakayoko himself that was in London opening the account. It was actually an official from Chelsea who came down in the morning to get the account ready for him. So that's, of course, the minute I heard that news, then I just definitely knew the transfer was happening. And yeah, today he's in London. There's photos everywhere of him. You know, I think he's on the Euro train right now with a newspaper, with a Daily Mail newspaper. So I think it's confirming that, yeah, of course he's in London. And yeah, exciting times ahead. I know a lot of people are skeptical about whether he's going to complete his medical. But again, the whole reason for this hold up in the transfer wasn't because we can't afford it or we're negotiating a fee with Monaco. That's the easy part. We already agreed terms with Bakayoko a long time ago, but the club just wanted reassurances that, you know what, we want to make sure that once the medical team have confirmed at Clairefontaine that you don't need surgery on your knee, then the transfer can go through, because obviously they're not going to do all of that to then find out last second, oh, he's going to need an operation, he's going to be out for a few months. That makes no sense whatsoever. So that's good that that's been clarified, that's been sorted. I know this morning Bakayoko's brother on Snapchat posted a cheeky little message, you know, saying, you know, I love Chelsea, basically. And yeah, that's all but confirmed the transfer today. So exciting times ahead. And yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing what happens with Bakayoko now. I've got a few thoughts on him. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's a very good player, but there's one thing I need to stress first. You know, I'm really stressing upon this, that sometimes you know, we have to understand what makes players good in their systems. Now, when Bakayoko comes, I'm not expecting him to, you know, maybe outperform Matic immediately. I think once he gets adjusted to the league, when he gets used to our system, then when he feels more comfortable, we're going to see the real Bakayoko. But I think he's going to need maybe 1 or 2 months to really adjust, or maybe up to until January. Kind of like Ramirez. Remember when he first came all those years back, he was really poor the first half, but once he got used to the league, got used to the system, got used to his teammates, that's when we saw the best of him. And I think similar things will happen with Bakayoko. Why do I think that? Well, one thing for certain is that when Bakayoko was at Monaco, they play a completely different system. Now, Monaco are a very attacking, expansive team. They don't necessarily care too much about possession, and that really proves it, because really Bakayoko was averaging maybe 40 passes a game, which isn't really that much for a midfield player. When Monaco played and attacked, they used the wing-backs to great effect. And then you have Bernardo Silva and Lamar, the two wide attacking playmakers who then cut inside. And then you'd have Mbappe and Falcao making runs in behind. And basically, whenever the wing-backs were pushed up and on the ball, that's when Mbappe and Falcao would move. You know what I mean? So really, Fabinho and Bakayoko, there was a lot of opportunities for Bakayoko to make drives into midfield because there was a lot of space there. You know, Monaco didn't really control the game in their opponent's half. So there was a lot of attacking responsibility on the players in the team. So of course, Bakayoko was using his good dribbling strengths. But at the same time, you know, maybe people might find me a bit too cynical, but with some of those opportunities for him to drive, his passing wasn't ambitious at the end. Now, I've watched quite a lot of Monaco last season, and most times when I saw him making a run in midfield, it would be, one, he'd get fouled, which is of course not necessarily too bad. Two, he'd play a very short pass to a front member or to Silva or Lamar. Or three, you know, which was like 7-8 times out of 10, he was playing a pass to either wing back. And again, for such an attacking, creative Monaco side, he didn't really display much with his use of the ball. And This is why I really think that at Chelsea he's going to need time to adjust, because we play a completely different style. Now, the way we play, which I keep saying a lot of times, we play centrally. So we play balls, quick balls to our front three. The front three keep hold of the ball, and they're the ones that have to keep the ball so the wing backs can push forwards, and that's how we start our attacks. So with Bakayoko in the team, of course, when the wing backs are going forwards, we need discipline with our midfield too. So it's not going to be like Bakayoko is going to be in an advanced position and Kante is going to be exposed by himself. No, because if that's the case, we could potentially be exposed on the counter-attack, which we were seeing near the latter half of last season. And I think that with Bakayoko, it's going to be quite similar to him fulfilling the Matic role. I think that Bakayoko is going to be touching the ball way more than he's touching it at Monaco. So I think he's going to really adjust to that. But really, it's quite interesting because will Conte maybe play Kante deeper and let Bakayoko play that box-to-box role, which would potentially suit him more, because then he could make use of his driving runs, and the more advanced positions he's playing in, maybe the more effect he can have on goal. Because at the moment in time, Bakayoko isn't much of a goal threat, but he's only 22 years old, and really last year was his first official proper season playing a whole season, you know, high-end top football. So he's got a lot of, you know, he's got time on his side to really improve and prosper. And I think maybe with some of the strengths that he does have, maybe I think that Conte should maybe give him more attacking freedom. I really don't believe Kante is the guy in our midfield to really contribute much offensively. And I think it might suit Bakayoko more and let him off the hook a bit, because, you know, Bakayoko is young. He's not perfect defensively. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of times when balls come in behind him, he doesn't, you know, he reacts to the danger instead of spotting it and then, you know, blocking that from happening in the first place. But again, of course, he is young. He will get better at that. But it's just one of his, you know, not one of his strongest points in his game so far. So maybe him having that box-to-box role would be more beneficial to him as a player to really grow and prosper, and beneficial to the team. Because really, in my opinion, I don't think Kante offers anything offensively, and really with his strengths in tackling and winning the ball, I think if he was the guy playing deeper and stopping those counter-attacks, that makes sense. Because when you look at Kante, you see that, you know, he's at his best when he's made a 15-20 yard run to close someone down and win the ball. And I think him doing that in, you know, when he's defending counter-attacks against us, makes a lot more sense than Kante on the ball further up, playing a 5-yard pass that's really safe and not really breaking up teams. So it's really going to be interesting. I think Bakayoko is going to be a good player for us, but I just think he's going to need time to adapt to get used to the way we play, because it's not as expansive and progressive as it is at Monaco. You know, we play a much more pedestrian type of football, and it's more measured compared to Monaco's more gung-ho approach. Now, due to that Bakayoko's medical tomorrow, it looks like 2 midfield players might be leaving. The first one's Matic. Yes, the players are preparing themselves for pre-season and training now. They're back at the club. But Matic has been training by himself with a personal trainer. It seems like Chelsea are going to try and sell him. It looks like Inter Milan are the most likely candidates. I know a lot of people, you know, they don't understand why Matic is going, because of course they're thinking about the squad depth in the Champions League. But at the same time, Matic, he's very confident in his ability. He's got an ego about him. He's not going to accept being, you know, 4th best, because I have a feeling Fabregas will be third, you know, the 3rd option. So Matic would be the 4th option if Bakayoko does come. So it looks like a move to Inter Milan for 34 million is on the cards. And another person that looks like he's leaving is Chalobah. Now, there's just been some photos recently on social media where it seems that he's at Watford's training centre at the moment. He's actually in an office with Fitzall. I don't know if you guys remember that that defender for QPR all those years back. He's a football agent now, and there's 2 Watford players getting their, you know, signing new contracts. You know, Gadara is one of them. I forgot the other mixed race defender. But Chalobah's actually taken the photo on his Snapchat. So it seems that there are reports that Swansea were going to go for him, because obviously Clements worked with him at Chelsea. But it seems like Chalobah's picky in Watford, maybe because, you know what, he wants to stay in London and it's easier for him. Now, people might be upset by this, but I really feel with Chalobah, this is a guy who's played nearly 100 games for the under-21s. You know, he's been at a level where he's not been really given the support or the chances to really show what he can do. I really thought every time he was coming on in the last 10 minutes, he was giving a very good account of himself with his passes. He was progressive, he did his defensive due diligence well, and I think that really kind of baffled me, because he showed in those 10 minutes that the manager should have trusted him to have maybe 30 minutes in another game, or maybe even start a game against the Sunderland instead. But he was never given that opportunity, and now he's thinking, you know what, I'm 22 years old, Chelsea are signing another 22-year-old midfielder. It seems like I've basically wasted a year, because all the promises I was told about game time amounted to nothing. The club are trying to keep me here again, because at the moment there's reports that Chelsea wanted to offer Chalobah 20,000 more and raise his 45,000 a week contract to 65,000 a week. But I think Chalobah's finally had enough. He wants game time, and just as all the other youngsters are getting fed up with how they're being treated at Chelsea, they're all starting to make their moves, and you know, they want to depart. But anyway, you guys, that's going to end my transfer daily video for today. Please like, comment and subscribe. And for the Snapchat daily video, I have all your questions. I'm going to be preparing the video tomorrow, but I need to say in advance there's a possibility that the video for the Snapchat Q&A is going to come out on Saturday, and that's because the device that I use to capture my iPhone to the Elgato isn't working at the moment. So I'm actually going to have to buy a new one tomorrow, which is really annoying. So bear with me. I've got all your questions. I'm not going to open them just yet because I don't want to lose them, but I'm going to be going through them. You know, the Snapchat Q&A is going to be on a Saturday. But anyway, you guys, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you all later.